time of the election cycle.
Bush speaking on Fox News. Meanwhile, Republican hopeful Ben Carson's numbers are continuing to drop. He falls to third place in this survey, and Donald Trump continues to lead. 27% support from Republican voters nationally for him. Florida Senator Marco Rubio now second at 17%. For USA Radio News, I'm Chris Barnes.
Coca-Cola workers are going on strike at 2 plants in the Chicago area. Over 300 workers are planning to go on strike today. Teamsters Local 727 says production and warehouse workers are protesting what they call unfair labor tactics involving delays and intimidation. The union claims the company intimidated workers with baseball bats and threatened union members with job loss. A Coca-Cola spokesperson accuses the union of misleading rhetoric and false attacks. And the Green Bay Packers visit the Detroit Lions on Thursday Night Football. For breaking news, we're at westernjournalism.com. I'm Melody Burkett.
Fox Sports Trending now.
In a turn of events in South Africa, an appeals judge has found Olympic track star Oscar Pistorius guilty of murder in the death of his girlfriend Reva Steenkamp back in 2013. The ruling overturns a previous culpable homicide conviction, which is the equivalent of manslaughter. Pistorius now faces up to 15 years in prison. The NFL owners will meet in mid-January in Houston and may vote on the LA relocation issue finally at that time. And the Browns announced that quarterback Austin Davis will be the starter for Sunday's game against the Bengals. Johnny Manziel will serve as backup. College football news, the University of Miami has hired former Georgia coach Mark Richt as the Hurricanes' next head football coach. And in baseball news, Dodgers manager Dave Roberts has hired former A's skipper Bob Guerin as the Dodgers' new bench coach. Guerin had served as the Mets bench coach the past 4 seasons. I'm Deb Carson.
We are
with the feelings that are associated with the sad life that I'm bringing, the tears and the singing. Being alive isn't a gift when there's so much you have missed and so little ringing true. The words to you by the people you trusted, when it all came down to choosing your ideals, developing your fears. Why sports I always what a light. How with all the love I have, I'm still alone. This feeling something I would never wish upon anyone. This feeling something I would never wish upon. sleepless nights. Nothing ever seems like it would be half of what I hoped it would be. So just this one time, please let things go my way. So just this one time, please let it be a better day. So just this one time, please don't let anything go wrong. So just this one time, please let me sing a happy song. Never wanna get my hopes up high, and I can't fail if I don't try. So I won't get up and I'll stay inside. Things are so much better when I hide, and it's so much easier in this place, 'cause it keeps me here and it keeps me safe. But if I get up and try again, it would be so nice just once to win. So just this one time, please let things go my way. So just this one time, please let it be a better day. So just this one time, please don't let anything go wrong. So just this one time, please let me sing a happy song. I'll get up again. It would be so nice just once to win.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1975.
In June of 75, the Bee Gees released the LP Main Course, featuring a more dance-oriented sound, and delivered 3 hit singles, including the number 1 Jive Talkin'. In July, Fleetwood Mac shake things up. They add Americans Lindsey Buckingham and Stevie Nicks to the lineup and have a number 1 album. And Wings released the album Venus and Mars, which goes to number 1. Their U.S. tour features Paul McCartney's first live appearance in the U.S. since 1966.
Love is fine for all we know. For all we know, our love will grow. That's what the man said. So won't you listen to what the man said? He said.
In August of 75, the Eagles' 4th album goes to number 1 and has 3 top 5 singles, including the number 1 title track, One of These Nights. And the boss, Bruce Springsteen, is featured on the cover of Time magazine, and Born to Run becomes his breakthrough album, reaching number 3 in the U.S.
Come on, we need chance like us. Baby, we were born to
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1975, coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Mike Rutherford to talk about why he felt the documentary Genesis, Some of the Parts, was worthy of production.
People forget from that one band, school band, you had the Gabriel career, the Collins, the Mechanics career, and then you put songs together. This is the key. You see a list of songs and you kind of go, In the Air Tonight, Invisible Touch, Living Years, Biko, and you kind of go, that's a great combination of songwriting. And so in a way, this documentary tries to sort of cement that a little bit. Because I meet people still these days who say to me, you mean you're the Mike and the Mechanics? They don't tie it in all the time. So in a way, this documentary, I think, helps do that.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Mike Rutherford and all your favorite artists.
Like most kids from a privileged white upper-middle-class suburban background, for a significant portion of his childhood, he was pretty convinced he was down. AG on the radio.
Yeah, oh, let's go. Talking that mess, better act like you know. Oh, let's go tonight. Walk away, punk, yeah, bitch. That's right, I know this. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. You're nothing but a punk, bitch. So walk away, yeah, yeah. You've been talking about me for a long time.
Lots and lots and lots of emails, lots of tweets, lots of people getting at me with regard to what happened in San Bernardino yesterday. And obviously we got to talk about it. But I want you to be aware that the discussion you and I have on this show about this and a lot of other things, this issue has come up a lot recently. in a number of different instances. The Planned Parenthood shootings. People like, we're going to talk about this on the air, right? And yeah, we touch on it. But I was like, let's let a few details shake out. Let's let a few details shake out on this one. Let's figure out exactly what's going on. I pride myself in this show not going off half-cocked. While events were still in motion yesterday, and with the shootings in Colorado, before people really, really knew anything about anything, while lives were still being lost, while blood was still being shed, people that I'm ashamed to be mentioned in the same breath with in the media, jumping on board, using it to sell web clicks, to try and get more followers on Twitter, in the world of politics, trying to firm up some more votes. People using human tragedy and the cost for their own gain in the media and in politics. And look, you and I have talked about this a bunch. If I was willing to play that game, Funkhauser and I would be living in much nicer houses, driving much nicer cars. It was put to me a little while ago. By someone kind of high up in talk radio. They're like, man, you should just go hardcore right wing on your talk show. I was like, I'm going to be who I am and do what I do, but I'm interested. I'll bite. Why? Why do you think? They're like, you could make so much money. I was like, what makes you say that? And they're like, because, well, look, Limbaugh's getting ready to check out. He's old. Glenn Beck is getting up there. And here's the thing. Republicans don't have anyone that's funny. And you're funny. Republicans don't have a Jon Stewart. You could be like the right-wing Jon Stewart. You're funny. Republicans need a funny person. The closest thing that we've got is Ann Coulter, who just thinks she's funny. And I was like, see, it's never going to happen. Can't do it. Can't lower myself to it. Can't pander in this way. Can't do it. Can't overlook humanity to the point where we're going to hate monger in an uninformed way, as both sides do, and capitalize on the senselessly shed blood of innocence. Folks that do that, sounds overly dramatic, but folks that do that, it's almost like their regard for human life is as minute as the people pulling the triggers in my book. And so when people are like, what are you going to talk about? How's it going to go? Need some insight from you. And the answer is, I don't know if I'm ready to weigh in on this yet. Like with the shootings in Colorado, I was like, I'm going to let some dust clear. I'm going to have respect for the lives lost. And I'm going to become more informed than the people that are popping off now about this are. Because there's people talking in absolutes when no one really knows anything. That was with regard to the shootings in Colorado. And before the dust got a chance to settle on that one, San Bernardino happened. So I want to be extraordinarily careful about how I phrase all this, because I don't feel as though we've got a clear enough picture of what happened to really go full bore on a lot of these issues. But we will get into what I think is happening. And I want to preface it by saying what I think is happening. We live in a time where it's too dangerous, where there's too much to be lost, where there is too much of a sense of human cost by wading in half-cocked, shooting your mouth off, talking about things that you really know nothing of when you're just trying to further your own career, your own political aspirations, your own media profile, whatever it is. It's all over the place, and it is disgusting. I'm not going to be a party to that, and this show won't be a party to that. So if you're looking for someone to scream and yell and go, the problem is this and the answer is that, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get the simple narrative that simple people like, that simple people take comfort in these complex times that we inhabit. We're going to have some real conversation. We're going to have some real talk about it. And hopefully we're going to figure out where our hearts and minds are on this one. We'll get into that in a second, but you know what? I'm sure that you've gotten a gutful of that in the last 24 hours or so. So we're gonna start with dessert, I think, on this one, and talk a little bit to super producer Funkhauser. Not only take a look at the events of today in our segment My Witness News, but also I think the first thing that made me crack a smile today. The first thing that made me crack a smile in the last 24 hours, I think, was the fact that I walked in and running late. Traffic light outside where I live was broken. I have to turn left. Everybody else was turning right, going off on their merry way. I was the one person that had to wait 15 minutes to turn left because of this light. So I was sitting there mad, and I walk in, and usually we have the stuff that we do after the show where Funkhauser and I sort of cut promos for other stations and things like that. And he's like, hey, man, I don't have a whole lot of time today. I was like, really? Why? And he was like, well, I got to go be in the audience on what, Funkhauser?
Wheel of
Fortune! And that was the first thing that made me crack a smile in the last 24 hours. So we're going to talk to Funkhauser a little bit about going on Wheel of Fortune. It's very, very cool. Hit the news bed, Funkhauser, and let's discuss what's going on in the world. And I promise you we will get to our conversation with regard to San Bernardino. But
just spell it right. There's an extra R in there.
Oh, my God.
Bernardino.
And I saw that. I saw so many people spelling it wrong. And then one guy, I don't even know who it was, some companion I have in the media, some coworker of mine was tweeting out that he was mad he spelled it wrong because now it means his tweets won't be part of what's trending. I was like, you kidding me? Are you kidding me with this stuff? A, you don't care enough to spell it right. You're a member of the media and you don't care enough to spell it right. B, what you're worried about is the fact that your tweets won't be part of the hashtag because you spelled it wrong. Like, these are my coworkers. These are my colleagues. These are the people that I get lumped in with. F me. Ugh. Yeah. But Funkhauser, not only are you going on Wheel of Fortune tonight, but you've been before. What's that like?
Yeah. It's well, most of it is them trying to just keep you awake and clapping because those audiences, you go through like 3 or 4 episodes back to back to back to back. So it's a lot of every time they're spinning that wheel, you're sitting there clapping. So after maybe the second or third, you're like, do I still have to clap? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When you walk out of there, do your hands hurt?
Oh, yeah. They start hurting about 20% into it. It's like, oh, man, just solve the puzzle.
So it's a long day. Does anyone in the audience ever shout it out and ruin it? And Pat Sajak's like, come on.
No. There's 3 or 4 handlers inside the crowd that's like, okay, you guys got to be quiet. Just clap now. Just clap. Follow. Repeat after me. Just do what I do.
Right. That's
Who wants
funny.
a T-shirt? Who wants a Wheel of Fortune button from the 1960s?
And so how many episodes? It's a long day. How many episodes do you shoot?
I don't know, 3 or 4. Too many.
3 or 4.
It's like a 3-hour day.
So, but when it airs, it's like 3 or 4 different shows. Basically, they knock out a week's worth of shows in a day, it seems like, with a lot of these game shows.
Yeah, because you never see the audience in these type of Merv Griffin things, you know?
Right. So, do they make the contestants change outfits? Like, they got to bring 5 outfits to make it look like they've been coming back day after day?
No, I don't think they come back on Wheel. I think those 3 and then they're out.
Really? You don't come back? This shows
sure.
how much I know about Wheel of Fortune.
No, I'm not sure. I think Jeopardy does that, but I think Wheel has 3 new people every time, but I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Vanna White. How old is she now?
Oh, yeah. Vanna White. She's got to be in her 60s, right?
Gotta be in her 60s. And when you've been on, Vanna White and no, she's not.
She's 58. Look at that.
She's 58 years old. Oh,
according
yeah.
to the internet.
Oh, Pat Sajak is the most comfortable. No, Pat Sajak is the most hilarious number and the most comfortable thermostat setting. Pat Sajak is 69, dude.
There you go. Yeah.
Do you get the impression? Do you get the impression that Vanna and Pat ever have? Do you think they've seen each other naked?
I had an ex-girlfriend that thought for 20 years of her life that they were a married couple.
Well, you know what? I understand how that happens. If you're not like, a hardcore Wheel of Fortune watcher and you see these two people appear on television for, what is it, like 30, 40 years now? How long has Vanna White?
Since 1982. So
1982.
35.
Wow. I mean, they probably have a much closer relationship than the people that they were married to / having sex with. They've spent that long in each other's space every single day. They've got to know each other pretty well. Do you think they get along? Do you sense any sexual tension between Pat and Vanna?
No, not really.
Yeah?
No.
Well, I mean, I like any sexual tension that there was back in 1982. I would imagine they would have acted on it by now.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I didn't think about that, going back in time. An inebriated Pat Sajak. Listen, Vanna, what if I pick V? What would happen?
Oh, gosh. Let's see what else can spin around here.
I'll pick the letter V. You pick the letter P. Now let's see what happens.
Spin that around and I'll give you, I'd like to buy an O. Vanna White was in Playboy. I'm looking at the pictures now. Yay, Google.
All of it? Or, did she reveal all of her characters?
You see stuff. You see stuff. You do. And you know what?
To Google.
Yeah. If Pat Sajak was single and Vanna White was single in the 80s, he would have had to not have wanted to break himself off a piece of this, to not have pursued her. Plus, the other thing about Vanna White is,
oh, hello.
Yeah.
I just went to Google.
Yeah. Bing bong, hello. I would definitely like to buy a vowel. But I mean, the thing about Vanna White is, look, we've been watching her on TV since 1982. 1982, she's been on television. And you know what you've never, ever heard in all that time, I don't think? Maybe there was some sort of scandal or something like that. But you've never heard stories of Vanna White being awful to anyone. Have you? Have you ever heard a story about Vanna White being a giant diva and being mean to people?
No.
I think the thing that makes Vanna White successful, even at age 58 on Wheel of Fortune, while she's still being paid to turn vowels, is because she seems nice. You know what I mean? And when, I think that's a magic combination. When someone happens to be a nice human being and also happens to be ridiculously easy on the eyes and smoking hot and has a booty that won't quit, smoking hot, booty that won't quit, easy on the eyes, if they're a terrible person, they're easy to ignore. But if they're a nice human being, you're just like, oh, God, my life would be perfect if I could only have one night with you. It's like this weird switch that goes off in your head for a lot of guys. And, I got to imagine that having been in the same space for that long together, it's like, I think you probably... I don't know,
someday we're going to be old and saying that about ourselves.
Well, minus the part where I say you have a booty that won't quit. Although after seeing you, those pictures that you posted on Naked Gardening Day.
Can't help it, man.
Yeah, Funkhauser does have a badonkadonk, and it would be hard not to notice.
Jamming on the one like Theo Huxtable. Days like this when I feel untouchable. I try and make up for all the wrongs I did by living my...
This is USA Radio News. I'm Melody Burkett. Investigators in Southern California are still trying to determine a motive for a mass shooting that left more than a dozen people dead and 17 others wounded at a holiday party in San Bernardino. We get more from USA's Jason Wirt.
San Bernardino police confirmed that Saeed Farouk, one of the two killers in the San Bernardino shooting spree, had been at a meeting at the Inland Regional Center where he carried out the assault, and that tip led them to his home.
He was at the party. He did leave the party early under some circumstances that were described as angry or something of that nature. That is the information that we were following up on when we encountered him back near this residence in Redlands, which led to the pursuit and the officer-involved shooting.
San Bernardino Police Chief Jared Bergwin says the attack was not spur of the moment and had to be pre-planned. I'm Jason Wirt.
This is USA Radio News. I'm Melody Burkett.
Turn down that radio!
If you finally decided to address your hearing loss, the MD Hearing Aid Air is a medical-grade hearing aid that costs up to 90% less than traditional hearing aids. Designed by a Chicago doctor, the MD Hearing Aid Air has a sleek, nearly invisible profile. This digital hearing aid incorporates technology and features found in hearing aids costing thousands of dollars. The Air offers advanced noise reduction, making speech clearer and virtually eliminating annoying background noise. 3 environmental settings put you in control. You select the best setting for your location. Call 1-800-485-4408. Over 100,000 satisfied customers have already made the call. Call right now for our exclusive 45-day risk-free trial and get free shipping and a year's worth of free batteries, a $50 value. Call MD Hearing Aid at 1-800-485-4408. Satisfaction guaranteed. That's 1-800-485-4408.
It's trending. Some breaking news in the overnight hours as on appeal, a South African judge found Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius guilty of murdering his girlfriend back in 2013, overruling a previous manslaughter conviction. Pistorius faces up to 15 years in prison. In the NBA, the Warriors are still undefeated on the year, now 20-0 after a 116-99 win in Charlotte over the Hornets. Steph Curry only played 3 quarters in this one, sat out the fourth quarter. He had 40 points in the victory. The Pacers beat the Clippers 103-91. Indiana's won 6 straight. Lakers get a win in D.C., beating the Wizards 108-104. Kobe Bryant, in his last game in our nation's capital, had 31 points. College basketball, a battle in the top 25. Number 3, Michigan State beat number 24, Louisville, 71-67. 7th-ranked Duke down Indiana, 94-74. And Wisconsin knocked off number 14, Syracuse, 66-58. I'm Eddie Garcia.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a #1 album, The Heat Is On, driven by the #4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to #9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to #12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the #1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of '75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to #1 in the US and the UK.
Have we found the same old fears? Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Mike Rutherford to discuss the art of songwriting.
I've learned one thing over the years is that actually you can't control it. You can't force it. You can't analyze it. You can't worry about it. You just go and have a good time and mess around, and then something comes along and you grab it. You know, it's something intangible. And if you try and make a program how to do it and do it better, you get lost. So it's like a free form thing, which you can't control. You just let it ride or not ride. And if it's not working, then you just have a break. That's what I've learned.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Mike Rutherford.
Have mercy. This is Billy F. Gibbons right here, and you're listening to AD on the radio.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me. Back once again, the ill behavior, delivering and giving you a musical savior. Back once again, it's your boy AD again. Nobody rock a party better than me.
I think we're getting old, Funkhauser.
Well,
and you know what's telling me?
I think we're all getting all old.
Yeah,
every one of us.
Yeah, but you know what's telling me that I'm getting old?
What?
Every time, you know how you get spam email sometimes? Like, usually...
I know when you do. I hear it all the ding. You've got mail.
But I mean, like, the thing is, the spam folders, the spam filters in this day and age tend to work pretty well. They're a thing. They work. You don't have to deal with it. Remember, like, back in the day when everybody had, like, Yahoo and Hotmail and America Online, and some of us still have America Online. Like, you would get spam all the time, and you just had to mark it as spam every single time something came in, and, like, it was like this ongoing task. Now you don't get it that much. Now you don't get that much spam. The spam filters work, but every once in a while, some plucky spammer finds a way around the filter, and you get a whole glut of stuff. And it's a telling thing because it doesn't happen that often. It happens like once in a blue moon. It's a telling thing. It lets you know where you're at in life. Lets you know where you're at in life. The type of spam that you get every single time some independent, plucky, clear-thinking hacker manages to work his way around your spam filter.
I've never heard that before. Yeah.
Oh, you've never heard that? Yeah. You know, plucky. Got a lot of pluck. Some gumption. Some get up and go. Like, come on, all right, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The nurse that comes to Ferris's house, like, I heard that you were feeling ill, headache, fever, and a chill. I have come to restore your pluck because I'm the nurse that likes to... Door gets slammed in her face by Ferris's angry sister. Do you remember that?
I didn't see that movie, but I get it.
Your pluck, like your pluck is sort of like your get up and go, your chutzpah, if you will. And if you're plucky, you got plenty of that. But every once in a blue moon, a plucky spammer gets through your firewall or your spam filters, and you get an indicator of where you're at in life based on your spam. Like, I think last time I got a glut of spam messages, it was all about porn and mortgages. Like, hey, here's a guy that seems to be at a stage in his life where he wants to meet hot naked singles that want nothing other than to hop directly on his most manly of apparatus and apply for a home loan. That's where I was at in my life last time. Now, I just got another wave of spam recently, and these are the things that it's telling me about my life. They're like, here's how old guys tighten their skin. It's true. Here's how old guys tighten their skin, where you can get cheap Viagra and second mortgages. Like, time to refinance. Like, before, I was off meeting hot singles, according to my spam, and applying for my first home loan. Now, I've made some bad financial mistakes. I need to refi. I need Viagra, and my skin needs to be tightened because of all the stress of my house costing more money than it's worth at the moment. This is the barometer by which I measure my life, the spam. And you know what? I don't know. I don't feel I need to tighten my skin yet. My mortgage is still really good, and I don't think I need Viagra to judge whether or not you need Viagra. To judge whether or not you need a little blue pill to help you out in the boudoir, you have to be in a position where you can get in the boudoir and get busy once in a blue moon. And, well, my life isn't at that stage yet. If I ever see the outside of my office during daylight hours, maybe I'll figure that out. But I don't think I need those things yet. But I think we're getting to an age, Funkhauser, where we need to refinance our mortgages.
Don't loop me into this. I'm still getting those young ones.
You're still getting the hot singles, and you should buy your first home thing. Well, have you bought your first home yet?
No.
Well, neither would I have if I lived my entire life in California. California is expensive. I lived in Texas for like 10 years where it cost $1 to live compared to here. There's no state taxes, and the cost of living exactly 1/3 of what it is in Los Angeles. So I was able to buy a house for like $150,000. The mortgage on it was like $700 a month, as opposed to here where your average sort of West Coast individual is paying like $2,500 a month just to rent on their shoebox. So that's probably why I haven't bought your first home yet. It's because it's freaking ridiculous to do so in the state of California. But anywho, yeah. So according to my spam, I no longer can get my yang up. I'm in bad financial straits, and it's giving me wrinkles. Fantastic. I think we need some cheering up. Before we get into what happened in San Bernardino, let's go over My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair. Certainly not balanced. Funkhauser, what is going on in the world?
The Wiz airs tonight on NBC.
Yeah. Are you familiar with The Wiz?
No, is that the Wizard of Oz reboot thing?
Yeah, it's Wizard. The Wiz is a nice change for NBC since they usually air the crap.
Starring Carson Daly.
No. Well, that's the thing. not starring Carson Daly for a very specific reason. By the way, The Wiz, I predict it will be the #1 show of the night. And by the way, The Wiz is, like you said, a remake of The Wizard of Oz. It's not one of R. Kelly's home movies. The Wiz is like a reboot of a reboot. The Wiz originally starred, I think, Michael Jackson and Diana Ross back in the day, and it was an all African-American remake of The Wizard of Oz. It was like a musical, but it was The Wizard of Oz in sort of like, I don't know. I don't know what you would call R&B and soul. That's what Diana Ross and Michael Jackson did back in the day. I suppose that's what you called them. So yeah, and now it's like a reboot of the reboot. And honestly, like, it looks like a big production if you're into that kind of thing, which personally I am not. Musical theater, yeah, the allure of that one has passed me by my entire life, but I'm sure lots of people will enjoy it, and The Wiz will be #1. Go on, what else?
Jerry Seinfeld is starting a 6-month residency at New York's Beacon Theater.
Yeah, I heard about that. That sounds, yeah. I might actually have to go back home to New York to check that out. That sounds unbelievable. You know, like, Jerry Seinfeld is essentially one of the mitigating forces in my life that, you know, allows me to get out of bed in the morning and not hate everyone and everything all of the time. Like, just, there's very few things in life, Funkhauser. There's very few things in life that make you happy. Happiness is something that you have to pursue for yourself. The pursuit of happiness, as laid down in a certain document at the birth of our nation. You got to pursue happiness on your own, but there's very few things that can actually make you happy outside of yourself. Jerry Seinfeld is one of those things for me, so I'm super excited about the 6-month residency at the Beacon. Give him enough time to finally uncover the deal with Airline Peanuts.
With puppies in my face and Dad gotta join me.
iHeartRadio shines the spotlight on Rush. The group released its first album, Rush, in 1974. The album wasn't faring too well. Then the song Working Man began airing on a few U.S. rock stations. The album was picked up by Mercury Records in the U.S., and sales began to skyrocket. Rush released Fly By Night and Caress of Steel. The group's big breakthrough came the following year with the release of the album 2112. The album featured a 20-minute title track divided into 7 sections. It went platinum in Canada. Rush then relocated to the UK, where the band recorded its next 2 albums, 1977's A Farewell to Kings and 1978's Hemispheres, at Rockfield Studios in Wales. The music on those 2 albums ventured more in the direction of progressive rock. Rush's popularity continued to soar, and in 1980, Rush released Permanent Waves. Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Rush and all your favorite artists.
Kevin, now that you're in 8th grade, let's not talk about alcohol. I won't ask if you've tried alcohol or what you're doing when you sleep over a friend's house. You're too young to even think about stuff like drinking. Right, kiddo?
Real kids are curious about alcohol. 40% try it by the 8th grade. Start a real conversation at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. That's underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. Talk early, talk often, get others involved. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Now, someone who everybody wants to punch in the face. AD on the radio.
All right, Funkhauser. Oh, wait. Why are you sending me back to me? Why is there a loud AD echo in my ears?
I guess you don't need you, do you?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
I could do it this way, too. This is cool. Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
Isn't that fun?
Our special effects are very special. Let's roll through what remains of the news, shall we?
J.J. Abrams wants The Force Awakens to empower women.
Yeah. Yep. You know, I guess one of the things about Star Wars is, I mean, thinking about it, you're definitely looking at a Han Solo and Luke Skywalker-centric type of situation, but with the Princess Leia thing and the Queen Amidala thing, there's always been a very strong female protagonist in the Star Wars flicks. I never really thought about it before, but sounds like J.J. Abrams is kind of following suit with his version of Star Wars. J.J. Abrams wants The Force Awakens to empower women, which, by the way, was his answer to the question, how is The Force Awakens the exact opposite of what Bill Cosby wants his drinks to do? Go on.
Sandra Bullock, A, can't get this bus any faster, B, adopted another black child.
Yeah, out of habit, Donald Trump demanded to see her birth certificate and have her checked for possible links to ISIS. Go on.
Kylie Jenner is still getting heat for doing a photo shoot in a wheelchair.
Yeah. At first, was it Kylie Jenner that got her butt out? And everyone was doing the side-by-side comparisons of Kylie Jenner's 18-year-old butt, which was fully on display for everyone, and her big sister Kim Kardashian's butt. Like, was that the one? Was that the photo shoot?
Sure, I don't know. I'm not really keen on my Jenner news.
Yeah, well, Kylie Jenner getting heat for doing a photo shoot and having part of the pictures be her sitting there in a wheelchair. And, yeah, tremendously insensitive. But in her defense, she's a Kardashian, and they don't have brain cells, so bear that in mind as you're passing judgment.
She's protecting her brain cells by sitting on them. Kendall Jenner says she's never tried coffee.
Right. Yeah,
Sure.
Her sister Kendall Jenner says she's never tried coffee. Why would you when you're railing lines of gack by age 16? No, I don't know.
Now, what's gack? Never mind.
Never mind. You know, but the thing is, and look, I don't want to. I don't know about her drug-taking habits or not, so I understand that comes from the world of satire. He said, backpedaling quickly. But Kendall Jenner said she's never tried coffee, and that cheap shots about cocaine aside, it's understandable. Only because, well, coffee is most often consumed by people who have jobs, so no surprise there. How much coffee would you say you drink a day, Funkhauser?
Not enough and way too much. How about somewhere in between there? You know what I hate? When somebody puts decaf in the coffee pot that's not labeled decaf, and you're halfway done with it, and you're like, hey, wait a minute.
I just don't understand the point of decaffeinated coffee. Like, why? I get maybe half calf if you don't want all the caffeine. Like, if you want coffee to wash down dinner, like coffee after dinner, I get that. But, like, decaf coffee? It's the most pointless excursion on
It's like Playboy without nudes.
It's exactly like that. You know how much coffee I drink every day? On a good day,
hollow leg's worth.
I've got this giant thermos mug thing that keeps my coffee hot all day long. And the other day, I was filling the coffee maker, and I did it by putting water in my mug. I was like, let me see how many cups this technically is according to my coffee maker. My coffee maker makes 10 cups. This thing holds 8. So I've been through 2 of these on a day. That means, like, in one single day, according to the measurement as doled out by my coffee maker, I've had 16 cups of coffee. That's too much, right?
Depends on who you ask.
I don't know.
Your heart's going to explode, but
yeah,
I guess that's fine.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I think, you know how we were talking about that? Somebody asked me this the other day. They're like, wow, you really like coffee, don't you? I was like, I think the only thing that I like more than coffee that exists on this earth without us, sort of creating it, dogs and coffee. Proof of God, if you ask me. Dogs are these incredible things that have been put on this earth that want to do nothing more than love us, be our companions, help us out, be in touch with our emotions, be our friends. Dogs are a gift from our Creator. They're the greatest things on the face of the planet. The second greatest thing on the face of the planet in terms of a gift from our Creator is the miracle of coffee. And I describe it as a miracle of coffee because who would have thought this? This is a gift. This is a gift from above. Because, honestly, the set of circumstances that have to transpire for a cup of coffee to come into existence seems so wildly random and unpredictable. Like, you could never plan this out. Like, who would think that, hey, there's these beans that when you dry them out and then grind them up and pour hot water over them and filter that hot water, it becomes the most wonderful beverage in the world. It's a miracle that coffee exists at all. And you know, because it does exist, I would say that we do have proof that somebody or something is out there looking out for us. Yeah. Coffee. Go on.
Dogs with coffee around their neck.
Oh yeah,
double whammy right there.
If I ever get caught, if I'm ever like in need of a rescue dog, the Saint Bernard should come to me with Saint Bernard should come to me with a caffeinated beverage around its neck.
What if it's decaf? That would be the worst.
Oh, that'd be the worst. I'd be like, I love you more than anything. You're a rescue dog, but this is decaf. Bad dog. Like, that would be. Bad boy. Go on. Let's. We got to get into the stuff about San Bernardino, but super quick.
The Miami Marlins there, Miami. They may hire Barry Bonds as a hitting coach.
Perfect for he's a perfect fit for the team. Said their strength and conditioning trainer, Lance Armstrong. It's funny because they both like steroids. Go on.
U.S. officials admit that a man held at Guantanamo Bay for 13 years was a victim of mistaken identity.
Yeah.
13
my God.
years. Holy crap.
13 years. I really hope that. At Guantanamo for 13 years because they got it wrong.
I spell my name with an O, not a U.
You feel... On the one hand, you feel horrible for him, but then again, he has no idea who Justin Bieber is, so you take the rough with the smooth.
He still has an AOL account.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do this, shall we? If you're just joining us, there's all these issues that I get asked to weigh in on a regular basis. The shootings in Colorado. You know what an interesting one was? I got an email from a listener, Lisa, who actually sounded a little concerned that I hadn't dealt with, you know, that porn guy, James Dean Funkhauser?
Yeah.
The one who's, he's kind of become the Bill Cosby of the adult entertainment industry because he's been accused of sexual assault, rape, all sorts of things. And it's, I got an email, a concerned email from Lisa, who listens to the show all day, all the time, saying, surprised you didn't touch on the rape accusations with James Dean that were made over the weekend. And my answer to that is, look, Joanna Angel, who we've had on the show, friend of the show, tweeted her support for the porn performer that said James Dean did it. But it's similar to the Colorado thing, where it's so serious that I don't want to comment until I'm more informed. Because these are serious issues. These are people's lives we're talking about. Now, a lot has transpired with the James Dean thing, and maybe we'll get to that next week. But the point is, there's all sorts of people that I'm ashamed to be lumped in with in the media that are just so fast to capitalize on this situation. On any situation. They don't care about people's lives. They don't really care about the truth. They care about generating ad revenue. They care about getting more followers on Twitter. They care about furthering their political careers. They care about furthering their broadcasting or writing careers. And that, to me, while it's commonplace, is awful. It's unacceptable. And this show won't stoop to that. Because people want an answer. People want an answer. I got so many emails in the wake of the San Bernardino shootings going, what do you think? What's going on? What do you have to say about this? And what I have to say about it is, obviously, it's a tragedy. 14 dead. It's a tragedy that I really know nothing about. And this past week just gone by, I've been in California. There were places not far from where I was working on lockdown because they didn't know what was going on, taking precautionary measures. Someone was on the run. Was he coming our way? We didn't know. We didn't know. And we were running news updates on it all day long on one of the stations that I'm on. I was as in the thick of it as anyone could have been. And it made me realize how little we knew about what was going on, especially when people started that were all the way across the country, that were not in the thick of it, started weighing in and saying it is this, or it is not that, or this is the problem. You don't know yet. But here's what I think of all this. I think it's a signal to all of us. On one side of the equation, I mean, look, this is just one organization. But they went hard. They were not messing around with this. The New York Daily News cover of it, God isn't fixing this. And on the cover of the New York Daily News, 14 dead in California mass shooting, had all the right-wing politicians and their tweets with regard to it, highlighting the word prayers. They were sending their prayers in this situation. God isn't fixing this, was how they went with it. And said, as the latest batch of innocent Americans are left lying in pools of blood, cowards who could truly end gun scourge continue to hide behind meaningless platitudes. That was their take on the situation, and that cover was ready to go with a quickness. Look, I get they have a strong point of view on gun control, but that to me is disgusting sensationalism that absolutely does nothing for the victims or the families. Nothing. And on the other side, Republican Ted Cruz said this means that we are at war. We're in a time of war. He said the attack on this holiday party in California proves that the nation is in a time of war. He was speaking before the Republican Jewish Coalition Conference in Washington. He said Barack Obama was failing to take the necessary steps to protect the United States. Most of the Republican presidential candidates are going to be addressing the conference, if they haven't already. And he said that they prove the country needs a wartime president to defend the nation. And that is me. Revolting. But here's the thing. From what we know, and I want to be careful about how we say this, from what we know, it was a Muslim couple. I would be very surprised if this act wasn't in some way religiously motivated. And they bought a gun. Well, I don't know if they bought it, but they used a legally obtained gun. People fighting against each other, going, we need gun control. We need to get rid of the Muslims. Oh, both of your problems have collided, and because both sides of this argument are too busy furthering their own selfish political and media-related careers, you're too busy tripping over your own genitalia to do anything about this situation. Both of your problems have come home to roost. You've done nothing about it, nothing whatsoever. And you know what? It's time that changes.
You know how a lot of times you feel like it's cool to turn the other cheek and give people the benefit of the doubt even when they don't deserve it.